Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about your next writing project, and that is your profile project. For this project, I'm going to give you the opportunity to either stick with the topic that you have been working on for the semester and choose somebody that you have found that is particularly significant to that subject area or to that topic that you've researched, or take a break completely from your semester project and pick somebody from modern society that you believe has made a difference in some way. It doesn't even have to be something huge, but somebody who is significant enough that you could do a little bit of research on, find other people who would agree with you, and write a profile of that person. Okay, so for example, one of my favorite people currently is the satirist Stephen Colbert. Okay, some of you I'm sure have heard of him. He used to have a TV show called The Colbert Report. He's a political satirist. And one of the reasons that he's become significant to me is because I've done a great deal of study of rhetoric in recent years. And he employs so many different avenues of rhetoric in the bits that he does. He will tell you that he is a personality. The Colbert Report and Stephen Colbert in front of a camera is a personality. He's a character, that he is not necessarily expressing his own personal views. And one of the things that I like about him is that sometimes it's difficult to pick out what his personal views are, because he does such a good job at causing his audience to really think about the issues that he is presenting. For example, a few years ago, he was hired, to go and speak in front of Congress at this committee for immigration and immigration reform, especially as it related to migrant farming. And he did this whole bit where he brought up all these different things. Like, one of my favorite parts was he talks about, with all the technology that we have, why can't we bring the ground to waist level? Where is the funding? As he's kind of making a play on how we spend our money. And then he makes another comment about this bill that he's been written to advocate for or advocate against. And he says, and I haven't read it, but I'm sure nobody in Congress has read this, 283 page document either. So he pokes fun. He's humorous, but he's also logically biting. He really gets you thinking. So those are the kinds of things that's an example of somebody that you could potentially choose for this type of project. Okay, somebody that you believe is an influencer, somebody that you believe has made a difference. And you can Google search this. You can Google search the top 25 influencers of 2019 and get a list of people who have made a difference on the internet. People like, James Charles or Cardi B, or, you can get some really kind of pop culture type of individuals, or you can go a little bit more serious and you can get somebody like different people who have come up in political ranks, people who have made a huge difference in medicine. Right now you could potentially pick somebody who's been a big voice in the world of COVID-19 in the last few weeks. So there's lots of options that you have here, okay? But what are you gonna do with this? What is this project actually asking you to do? Well, it's asking you to get personal, okay? Pick somebody you care about, because the more you can actually care about this person, the more authentic your writing's going to be, the more we're gonna actually be able to care about what it is that you're doing, okay? So pick a person. Then you're going to describe them. Okay, what do you know about them? Stephen Colbert, if I'm going to describe him, I'm going to talk about his personality. I'm going to talk about the fact that you rarely see him outside of a suit and tie. He is a professional. He always looks like a political figure, and he looks like somebody that should always be sitting in front of a television camera. That's just the perception that he portrays with his character. I'm going to talk about what his, how he influences people and how he gets people to think. Those are some of the descriptors that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to dive into some research. I'm going to do whatever kind of research I want to at this point, because at this point, I've learned what makes for good sources. I've learned how I can find valid information. I know the variety of things that I can use because you've done this. Okay, you've proven yourself capable researchers. So now it's wide open to you. Go and find some sources that help to support your position on this person. Okay, positive or negative, support your position on this person. And then I want you to find some quotes of other things that people have said about them. Something that, again, they can be positive, they can be negative. It's really up to you. But what are some direct quotes that you can pull in that are going to get your audience to really understand some things about this person that you've chosen? Okay. Make sure that you draw on evidence and insights from a variety of sources, though. You don't want to just pick something, you don't want to just pick the basics. You don't want to pick the classic sources that are going to pop up through a Google search. Make sure that you're kind of throwing in that variety so that we get a clear evaluation of this person. You can utilize observations, you can use interviews, you can use biographies, you could use TED Talks or YouTube biographies, lots of different things that you can choose for that. Make sure that you present anecdotal evidence, provide situations. You get to kind of be a little bit of a storyteller. You can narrate this a little bit more than you were able to do with like the research paper, okay? And then I want you to make sure that you emote some kind of emotional response, whether that be positive, you think this person's influence has been amazing, or you might think this person's horrible. I mean, think about somebody like Donald Trump, for example. You can't deny that he's an influencer, okay? He is a major political figure, all right? There are people who love him. There are people who hate him. There are people who appreciate him as a business person and as a political figure, but despise him personally. You can flip-flop that all the way around, and ultimately, two people can write about Donald Trump and emit two completely different emotional responses, okay? So as you're looking at this profile project, you're presenting a profile. What do we know about this person? What is their influence? What have they done? What evidence can you provide? Okay? Again, this is not meant to be something that is huge. This is not a research paper. This is just a profile of a person. So, take the time to think about somebody potentially that you care about, or go back and pick your favorite source. Who do you think wrote a piece for your research paper that you were just really impressed by? Or who was somebody that was quoted in one of your sources for your research paper that you were really impressed by, and now you want to learn a little bit more about them? Those are all things that you can take into consideration as you're putting together your profile project.